Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. Please stay tuned for the top 8 real estate misconceptions or myths. To start off, let's talk about if you have to have a certain amount of money or have to be rich if you want to invest in real estate. This absolutely is not true. There are many different ways that you can partner with other people to pool your funds together and invest in different properties. There's many opportunities out there. Send me a message and we can discuss. But this is definitely something that shouldn't hold you back. I would say it's a limiting belief that a lot of people might hold just because they are not educated or haven't really looked that deep into real estate investing. And it's just something that they think is out of reach, or you have to have X amount of dollars, a certain amount of money. It's just not true. You don't have to have a certain amount of money. You have to have some in order to, invest, but there's not a minimum amount. And there's different ways that if you truly want to start investing in real estate, even with $0 out of your pocket, you would be able to invest. If you were able to source a deal and then find other investors to invest in it, there's ways to get some equity that way to invest in real estate. All right, for number 2, you need to be a landlord in order to be a real estate investor. This is one thing that you just might not have the comprehension of, where if you're an investor, it can be totally a passive activity. You don't have to be the one dealing with the tenants, trash, termites, all those bad things, the late night calls. If the property that you are invested in is big enough, more than likely you can hire a property manager or outsource the management of that property. So everything, all those problems are taken care of. That's what they get paid for, is to manage the property. So you don't have to spend your time managing it. And if you're working your day job or whatever it is that you do, you can keep doing that, do what you're good at, and let the management company do what they're good at, which is managing the property. Something else kind of in line with that is if you need to have a background in construction. Totally not the case. I don't have very much in the way of a construction background. I'm not super handy, but I have invested in many different types of properties, and I've never swung a hammer and done any of the fixes or things myself. I've hired out to third party or different vendors to take care of those problems for me, which is great. All right, number 3, real estate investing is easy. It's not difficult, I would say. It's just how much preparation and how much knowledge, what knowledge base you can build up. That's going to determine if you think it's easy or hard. The actual math of investing is very straightforward and simple. You need to have a property that is cash flow positive, or if you're doing some value add on it, you need to have your business plan together, where the fixes you plan on doing is within reality, where you can add that value and hopefully refinance and get some of your cash out for another investment, and then keep rolling and receive distributions on the investment that you made. So it's kind of all in relation to how much knowledge you have and how prepared you've made yourself, and how many other investors you've networked with. It's just kind of the fear of the unknown, where if you don't know what you're doing and don't have any thing to compare it against, it might seem scary, it might seem hard. It is for beginners, but once you get that knowledge base, then it definitely becomes a lot easier, and it just makes sense to keep doing it because of how great the tax benefits and the income stream and all the other benefits that I've talked about that you receive. All right, number 4, real estate always goes up in price. over the long term, yes, it does go up in price, but that really depends on what stage of the economic cycle you're in. So as it goes from a recession to the growth phase to being at the peak or the top of the cycle and then comes back down, real estate will correct itself, and over the long term it does appreciate and increase in price. One thing that you don't want to do is buy something at the top of the market, and then if you would have some financial hardship, then you would need to unload it or dispose of it at the wrong time or at the bottom of the market. You can definitely get in trouble there and possibly lose money. But if you have appropriate reserves and are just being smart about it and know that it's a long-term play, real estate definitely over the long term, multiple years, will increase in value. All right, myth number 5, start small. I guess small would be a relative term on depending on what your financial resources are and what you're used to. You can get started for very little money investing in real estate, depending on who your partners would be. It could be singles, thousands of dollars up to tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on your resources. But you don't have to start small. Actually, comparing single family homes to apartments, in my opinion, there is a little bit more risk when you're doing single family homes because there's only one tenant that is paying you rent. So if they would ever vacate or not pay you rent, your income stream is gone. Also, there's one roof and one HVAC, one furnace, air conditioner. So if those things go out, the expenses for that year, it could blow your profit and loss out of the water, and you could potentially break even or lose money during that year if any rehab needs to be done or a major expense came up. Versus if you have a net lease property or larger, say, multifamily property or multi-tenant retail property, there are more than one tenant paying you rent. So if someone would have a hardship, maybe a global pandemic pops up, and they weren't able to pay rent, you have the other tenants to lean back on, where they're also going to be paying you rent. And so there's some insurance there where the likelihood of everyone stopping paying you rent is going to be more unlikely, versus if you just have a single tenant or a single family property. If they stop, then that's your whole income stream that would go to zero. All right, number 6. This kind of goes back to the myth number 4 I was talking about, where you could get in trouble if you bought at the top of the market and sold at the bottom. It's always best to buy during a recession or a down market. This definitely is not the case. There are going to be opportunities in every stage of the economic cycle. You just have to do your due diligence and make sure that you're confident in your numbers, you're confident in your business plan. If you're doing any value add on a property, you just have to know your stuff to make sure that you're not getting into something or making unfair assumptions on how much rents can increase if they're below market, or how much you would be able to decrease expenses if that's your game plan, to optimize your NOI. You just have to know what you're doing. And if you wait for the right time to buy, you could be waiting a very long time, and your money could be working hard for you while you are sitting back doing nothing. So I guess I would say, don't miss out and let real estate investments pass you by. You need to do your research and educate yourself so you feel confident about what you're going to invest in. But waiting for that exact right time, it's kind of a analysis paralysis type of scenario where maybe you're just not comfortable or you're not convinced it's the right thing. So you'll tell yourself kind of your own story on why you shouldn't be taking action right now. But if you want to put your money to work and start getting some of that income, getting another passive income stream, there's never a perfect time. You just need to do your due diligence and make sure that the property you're investing in is going to pan out and have a positive cash flow. All right, number 7, you need to have a real estate license. So currently I am a licensed broker for commercial real estate. So if you are looking for commercial properties, definitely hit me up. I can help you find what you're looking for investment wise, but by no means do you need to be a licensed agent or feel that once you have that it's going to unlock different secrets and you would know exactly what you need to know to invest in certain properties. There's a lot of other brokers and agents out there that haven't done the homework or the research to know exactly what is a good investment property and what is not. So it's definitely not a something that you have to have in order to start investing in properties. You just need to get yourself to a point where you're educated enough to make the smart decision and pull the trigger. All right, lastly, investing in stocks is a safer or better investment than real estate. This goes back to kind of how I was taught growing up, and I feel like it's the way or the easiest way that able to educate everyone on a broad scale is if you say that yes, put money in your 401k. This is the safest thing. Over the long term, it's going to increase. Yes, absolutely, it will increase over the long term, and you'll have some of that compounding, interest and gains. It's just that real estate is taxed so much more favorably. There's appreciation, benefits going back to the taxes. The income stream that you're getting most of the time right away. This is something that stocks, normally you don't have that income stream where you could live off it if you wanted, or you can accumulate that income and purchase another investment property. There's just so many things that make real estate, in my opinion, a safer or better investment, but you do have to put in the work. You just can't blindly go in, look on LoopNet, Crexy, some of those online platforms, and buy something, sight unseen, or if you read a book or two and feel like you're making a great decision, you really need to talk to other people, talk to people that have invested before, like myself, and get other opinions on it and make sure that the numbers that you think the property is going to produce is actual reality, just so you have a better chance of having a positive outcome. So, all right, that's it for the top 8 real estate myths or misconceptions. I look forward to talking with you guys again. Thanks.